Yeah, so I'm in the market to buy a brand new luxury watch, and premium Swiss watches are known to be the best. But this comes with a price costing many thousands. So what about those higher-end Swiss-made micro brands? What's the deal there? These luxury micro brands are still taking a wallop from your bank, and are they a good investment? If you like a watch and have no interest, if it has no future investment, then it seems luxury micro brands are perfectly set between the known Swiss brands, which leaves you huge smiles and more money in the account. However, for me, the use of Swiss made is something that I find very interesting because of the mysterious enclosure of truth. And most of us know that today's Swiss made can include help from outside of Switzerland of up to nearly half, at 40%. And this is the side that makes me feel the pricing is exploiting the print of Swiss made on the dial. Even though some luxury micro brands are built very well, it just seems for 316L still and a cloned ETA movement, they are priced close to known brands that are loaded with historic background. And sapphire isn't a rare unknown material from Fraggle Rock, so it can't be all about that. Switzerland has high standards and are proud of a great infrastructure, keeping everything looking maintained. So if you're wanting to set up your own watch manufacturer in Switzerland, then you have some overheads. The location won't be cheap if you choose one of the more attractive sides of the mountains. Then you'll have to pay a premium to those who work for you. So the costs are rising. You'll need to charge a high price to make the ends meet, which is a gamble. I can understand why such brands like Patek Philippe and Rolex can get away with it, mostly because they are making it, as they mention, fully in-house, and they have a fantastic healthy secondary market relationship, so it becomes a safer place for your money. So for a luxury micro brand to work and sell competitively, they have to trim something from totally being Swiss made to win the manufacturing side. I've read a few blogs that some luxury brands have dropped their prices soon after release, and for those who've paid full whack at the beginning, must be well disjointed. I know for me, putting war paint on and going Rambo wouldn't be far from the truth if that happened. So why suddenly reduce their prices? Are sales not going to plan? With most new luxury micro brands, it's about finding the right price. So they obviously start at the highest, and if sales succeed, then big win for them. But using customers as a trial of pricing isn't what I call a clever strategy. More like greed. So does this mean its worth hasn't been properly audited through lack of experience? How does one feel losing hundreds and hundreds soon after is nothing at the beginning, as it will continue to lose money as the secondary market doesn't show much support for these luxury micros? So what's my point here? Well, I'm in the position to shell out my hard-earned money for a new luxury watch, which has to be made with no 40% secrets. It has to be made well using materials that also justify their asking cost. But the most crucial part is that I don't lose money faster than the sinking RMS Titanic before it even left dock. With much pondering, I've decided that big Swiss names is really obscuring my focus, so I need to become blind so my distractions are focused on the truth and true value of a premium watch, as I'm cheap. If you're thinking Grand SEIKO, you're getting closer. I was pondering on a German-made watch, and may come back to that in the future. I give you a brand that stands alone, that are proud and have set new standards that we've all had experiences with. A company that started out with adding, subtracting and multiplying. I give you, believe it or not, Casio. How you laugh, but has your watch got anus on the dial and gets away with it? If a watch is made that good and it's perfect value, I wouldn't care if it had hairy balls on the dial. Oceanus has taken Casio to another level, and let me tell you why. 100% no nonsense of being naughty. This is made in Japan. Really made 100% in Japan. Built using no Swiss imported parts, the Oceanus is however using the Japanese secret weapon of Grand SEIKO to achieve the finest in build and finish. Combination of strength and lightness to produce a watch exterior that matches other brands 10 times more expensive. A movement that's solar driven and keeps atomic time automatically. The combination is like a new-founded element. To me it is. Titanium coated in carbon keeps the precise finishing secured. Domed hardened sapphire using AR coating keeps the display looking sharp as ZZ Top. I've done my homework and I think I've found the right watch for me. Enough of this dramatic talk, let's get on with it. This is a JDM, Japanese domestic market, which means it's only available from Japan, and the model number is OCW-S100-1AJ. The prices are set around the £500 mark, with secondary market prices around £400, but looks like this will change and increase as they're becoming more sought after. Oceanus is a series that is like Grand SEIKO to Seiko. Each watch is hand finished using a combination of machine accuracy for alignment. It seems that quartz has taken a hit when it comes to the luxury side, but what you may not realize is that quartz movements can cost more to develop and manufacture and are harder to clone. With regards to the movement used in this Oceanus, it has a tough movement which is solar powered shock with anti-magnetic resistance. It has an atomic time date syncing, keeping it accurate, and the hand alignment is controlled so that it always hit the markers each time perfectly. The case and bracelet are made and finished at Grand SEIKO, and you can without doubt notice the difference between this and a regular Casio. I chose this version as I wanted a simple dial, but it has a twist of being the perfect traveller as it has a quick set, well-timed function. The titanium not only makes it light, it's also resistant to corrosion. The finishing on the brushing and polishing is nothing but perfection. This watch is undoubtedly the most comfortable and even leaves you checking not the time but whether it's still on your wrist. Adjustments made to the bracelet is rewarded with half links as well as micro adjustments, so it really feels a custom fit. Water resistance to 100 meters makes it a perfect all-day watch. This really has the balance of a one-watch collection. The dial is deep black and shows no signs it's solar driven. The applied markers are polished like the case with detailing of blue to give it interest. The Oceanus logo is applied and finished in polished deep blue. The hands are sculptured to match the dial, reaching perfectly to their targets. The dial and hand illumination carry on with the blue touch. The domed sapphire sits in a blue outer backing, giving the illusion that the sapphire is tinted. The crown is of perfect dimensions, making it a pleasure to use with the Oceanus logo etched at the top. The only button is matching the case, that's brushed and polished.
And now for the dimensions, and the most important, the weight. Case width including crown is 43.1. It's 11.2 millimeters thin. Lug to lug is 46.3. Lug width is 20.4, and it weighs a whopping 84 grams. And now for a size comparison, and I thought the Gravity Master would be perfect, as that is also all analog. So what is this sort of size of this display? Let's have a little measurement here. So if I would to say measure the sapphire crystal edge to edge, it is about 33 millimeters. If I was to measure the actual sort of dial, you're looking about 28 millimeters. So hopefully that gives you a good sort of idea. And just for a bit of fun, I thought I would do a thickness comparison next to my big fat juicy G-Shock, and it is very, very thin, as you can see. But for the style of this watch, it is absolutely perfect on all dimensions. Now, using macro, I can see more detail in the dial, and I've noticed under the bright lights in my light box that the actual dial is split into 6 segments. These black lines here you cannot see during the day, so it was quite interesting to see that for the first time. Now, the date window on the Oceanus is actually a brilliant size. Don't need my glasses to view this, and it doesn't have a cyclops, keeping it very neat indeed. And look at that comparison next to my Gravity Master. It's almost double the size. On the outer chapter ring, it's showing the city codes, and this has 29. And below that you have the minute markers, and look how this second hand is hitting every marker perfectly, and this does it 24/7. I've never seen so much accuracy on a quartz watch. The minute hand moves every 10 seconds, so that means that will move 6 times in a minute. It's incredible how they've managed to finish this off, and all being titanium, because it just looks so heavy with those thick links there, but it's so light, and it really does fool you. I like on the end here how the top here is flat, and then it has a nice gradient with the curve that goes down like that on the side. It really hits the light and just makes it more chunky than it actually is. And on the center links, it does have a little part here which is polished, very polished indeed. And then at the bottom here, I'm just going to show you, that is a half link and that is a full link, and you sort of really notice only when you're on the side. There you can see the huge difference, and it continues even on the clasp. Either side you have the 2 push buttons, and these are polished, and this is all titanium. Then it's etched with Oceanus there. You've got a nice edge, and you've got a couple of micro adjustments there, and with the half links it makes it really easy really to get this absolutely perfect on your wrist. Yes, I have been wearing this quite a lot already. I couldn't wait and do a live unboxing. Another great thing about this bracelet on the wrist, it doesn't have this sort of that stainless steel rattle. It's just very dull on sound, so it's really, I really like that. So if you prefer the more rattly bracelets, then this titanium isn't for you. Just want to mention that this part in the middle here is all part of the case. It's only these 2 outer parts that is all part of the bracelet, and there is a drilled lug. Now, I don't understand why you would want to take that off, probably just to clean it, because I can't imagine this being with anything else but with this titanium bracelet. I mean, this is the full package, and you are paying premium for this sort of bracelet, so it's a shame if you just stuck a NATO or leather on it. So let me just give you a quick measurement at the top there. So that is 20.5, and then it tapers down to 17.7. It is a very easy module. I mean, once you've got it set up, there isn't anything you need to do. It's all done by Multiband 6, but you do have the side where you can manually adjust it, and we're going to cover all of this in a full tutorial. Also, changing the different time zones is very easy, and again, if you land in the right time zone that has atomic keeping, it will adjust it for you. So let's get on with it. You've probably noticed on the dial it has some little markings here. So let me sort of explain what this does. This Y and N is part of the Multiband 6, and this basically tells you whether you received a signal yes or you didn't with a no. And the second hand will point to this. On this side, again, this is all to do with Multiband 6. R means ready and W means it's working, so that's looking for a signal. And at the bottom, this is all to do with the daylight saving time, the DST. So you either have it on auto or you put it on manual, so it allows you to either choose standard or turn daylight saving times on. And I will cover this in a full tutorial. And I need to kick off really with the buttons, because you're probably dying to know what this is. Well, this just has one little feature, and that's to do with the daylight saving times at the bottom. And then you have one pusher, and you have a crown and one position on the crown. It's just a matter of pulling it out the once. So what do we do in this sort of present state? Well, if I just push the button, it's going to tell me whether I got a multiband signal or not. And I haven't, so it's pointing to not or no. So you just wait a few sort of seconds and then it goes back into time mode like this. I'm now going to pull the crown out while it's in home time, and this will adjust my city code. So if I pull that out now, the second hand should point to London. And very quickly it does, and there is my city code, London. And here, just by turning the crown once, it'll adjust it 1 hour at a time, like so. But it also, I've noticed, it does half-hour zones as well. So that is really cool indeed. Say, for an example, I landed in Tokyo. Let's just wind it all the way down there. There it is. And it will adjust the hour hand and the minute hand. It's now going to adjust the date as well because it is tomorrow. Then it's just a matter of pushing the crown back in and the second hand starts ticking again. Now if I push the pusher, it's going to show that the multiband 6 is going to be on no, though it hasn't retrieved the signal. Every time you adjust the city code, it's going to reset this. So that is quite normal actually. Now I've just landed back in London. Let's pull the crown out and let's adjust that back to London. And once it's back to London, I can now just push the crown back in. I haven't got to wait for everything to settle down, including the date. Using this old toothpick, I'm going to show you how to adjust this part down here, all to do with the daylight savings. What I do in home time, pull the crown out, second hand goes to my time zone, which is London. Now you can do this for all the time zones in one sitting if you like, but I'm going to give you a demonstration just on London. So by pushing the toothpick I got in here so I don't damage it, if I push it once, it'll tell me what I have it set on. At the moment it is on auto. If you do nothing for a split second, it goes back. So to adjust it to the standard or to daylight saving time, I have to hold the pusher down for a few seconds. The second hand will flip over to the manual side and then point either to standard or to daylight saving time. So again, I only get a few seconds, or a split second should I say. So while it's in one of these, either one of these sections, I need to quickly push the pusher so it flips back and forth. It's sort of sounding more complex than what it is. Once you actually do it, it is very easy, and of course the viewfinder doesn't help. So if I hold it down for a few more seconds, there it goes to manual. Now I'm pushing the pusher and you can see it's flipping either or. So if I just left it to daylight saving time permanently on, so now if I just push it the once, it should just go straight there like so. Now if I was to hold it down now for a little bit longer, it will go back to the auto. And I say you can do all the time zones in one sitting if you want to, and that's how you adjust the daylight saving time. And just push the crown and it's back to the ticking hand. Next I want to cover the multi-band 6 side, or the atomic side. And this is done automatically, and it will start searching for the signal from midnight to about 6 a.m. in the morning. It will attempt at least 6 times, and say for an example, it retrieves a signal on the second attempt, it will no longer search and it will just go back to timekeeping. So from home time, if I just press the button once, it will point to whether I had a signal or not. So if you want to do a manual retrieval, it is a long press and it goes to R. So now it's ready. Because I'm in my light box, I'm not going to get a signal. So what I do, I grab my iPhone, press on clock, wave the app, and then start transmitting. Then get my phone quite close to the watch, and then the second hand will go to W, which means work. And this doesn't take too long once it's got that signal. And there we have it. Now this will normally take up to about 2 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. And at any time, if you press the button, it will cancel. Now I just want to point out that sometimes it doesn't go to work. It will just go to R, maybe it will go to work, and then suddenly it just flips back and goes back to timekeeping mode. And this is an indication that the watch will need charging. It just doesn't have enough power to retrieve a multiband 6 signal. Next, I want to show you how to manually adjust the time and date. So from the home time, putting the crown out, the second hand will go to the time zone. Just want to add that if nothing is done or no action is done within 2 minutes, it will lock me out, meaning I can't push the button or use the crown. So to reset, you just have to push the crown back in and then pull back out again. Now within these 2 minutes, I need to push this crown for a few seconds. So pay attention to the second hand here. And then release. Now the second hand is now acting as an AM and PM indicator. So when it's before the 12, this is AM, and when it's after, that's indicating that it's PM. Now I can adjust the crown by going clockwise, or I can go anti-clockwise. Just one click will adjust the minutes. Now I can also just give it a few more little clicks forward, and the hands will start adjusting sort of automatically. And I can do that again, and it goes a little bit quicker like so. Now what I'm going to do is just let this run and show you what it looks like once the hour hand hits the 12 o'clock, and show you how it converts from AM to PM. So this is not going to take too long, and it's very quick. So keep an eye at the top. And there, it's done the swap over. So now it's indicating that I'm on PM. So just in case you didn't know how that worked. And if I turn anti-clockwise, just one click, the hand will stop. Now if I push the button now, you see the hour hand just moved, and now I have the adjustment. For one click, it will move 1 hour. And I can also give that a few clicks, and it will advance like that. Now see, it's gone back to AM. And again, you can just one click and it will just stop. Next, when I push the button, keep an eye on the date window there. It just moves very slightly. Now I can advance the date like so. And here you can't give it a few more clicks and it will just keep evolving, and we have to do it one at a time. So once you have the date set, you push the button, and now the second hand is indicating the month. December being 12, so this is on January, that would be February, March, April. Well, you get the picture. So let's put that back onto January. Next is the year by pushing the button again, and this time we're going to be using the hour hand and the minute hand. Now the hour hand will do it in tens, so if the hour hand was at 12, that'd be year 2000, 2010 and 2020, and the minute hand marks the years, so that would be 1 year, 2 year, and of course it only goes up to 9. So if I was to go backwards, and that would be 2010 plus the 9 makes it 2019. And of course, when I go forward, it adjusts that. So that is on 0, and now that is 2020. Very cool indeed. And then just pushing the button again takes me back to this adjustment here. So once you're all happy, you just push the crown in, and then it starts ticking away. And notice it starts from the 12. So you can actually get it accurate that way. And lastly, I need to show you how to do a hand calibration, and this also can calibrate the date wheel. Now, in case you drop the watch and the hands go out of alignment, then this is how you need to do it. So from home time, pull out the crown, and then it's a long press on the button for 10 seconds. You're basically waiting for the second hand to hit the 12 o'clock marker, and then you can release. So let's give that a little push. That's the first adjustment if you want to adjust the time manually. And then it goes to 12. And now the hands are going to all line up to the 12 o'clock position. And because the hands are individually geared and motor driven, the watch or module knows exactly where to put the hands. And there it is, perfectly lined up. Now, you could either push the crown back in or press the button here. And now you're going to see the date wheel advancing. Now, this is going to advance to the 1. And from there, you can fine tune with the crown so you can get that 1 perfectly centered. And that is perfect for anyone with OCD. So I'm just going to let that run. Right, 31. And there it is, right on the 1. And because I've already calibrated, I don't need to repeat this, but you can go forward and back. And it's just a one click. It moves it so minuscule, so it does really get it tuned perfectly. Anyway, so once you've got it all happy and set, it's just push the crown, and that goes back to the timekeeping mode. And of course, the date will go back to the, what's the date today? The 10th, I think. If you're in a region where you don't get the multiband 6 signal, then you might as well turn it off and to preserve your battery. So from home time, you're just pushing the button, and this second hand will indicate whether you got a signal, yes or no. In this case, I have got a signal because I used my phone. Anyway, to turn this off, you just do that action again, and now you just pull the crown out. And it goes back to yes, and then just using the crown, you can move it either to no or yes. Yes or no. No or yes. Well, you understand, don't you? So that would be no signal, and that would be yes, please. I would like to have multiband 6. And in my case, yes, please. So that is my choice for a premium luxury watch. I ended up getting a Casio. Well, that was no surprise. Anyway, I hope you don't mind what I said at the beginning, but hey, this is just my thoughts and my opinion, and I could always be wrong. But I gotta say, this is one cool, super cool watch. I am over the moon with it. I cannot fault it. Now, if you're in the market and you're thinking of something different, then maybe one of these, because these aren't mass produced like many Swiss watches. This is very limited, and possibly you may not see anyone wearing one. Well, the chances of bumping into someone with the same watch could be very remote. Anyway, that is the Atomic Time full titanium sapphire. And as always, thanks for watching. Nope, still alive.